Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa and to the Nordschleife Challenge Redux Edition. Why Redux? Well, the cars are all going to be cars that have already been on this challenge, starting with the one that started the challenge in the first place, the Fiat 500 Abarth, albeit in red rather than white. Now these Redux videos are going to work a little differently to the normal challenge videos in that you are only going to see my fastest lap, so these should be shorter videos, and I will be commentating on the lap and it is not going to be me driving live. I will also be putting up the video of the fastest lap from my last attempt in the top left, so you should be able to compare that, and I have hopefully synchronized those at least to, it should be, to the half second. The fastest lap that I have done this time around will be after a bunch of practice laps, depending on the time that I have and how much more time I can eke out of the car, how much more time I think I can eke out of the car. So it is not going to be just 2 laps and that is it. It is going to be as many laps as I want in practice, or I can and have time for, and then you get to see the fastest. And if you want to see those practice laps, they are available on Patreon, so do go check out the link in the description box below. Aside from that, everything else is the same. Weather conditions are exactly the same, and as usual, there'll be no traction control, and the car will be on street tyres. ABS, however, is now enabled as per the decision made in episode 32. Now, to give you a quick reminder of the specs of this car has a 1.4 litre turbocharged front-mounted engine producing 158 brake horsepower at 5,750 RPM. It also produces 170 foot-pounds of torque, or 230 Newton meters, at 3,000 RPM. Drive is delivered through a 5-speed manual gearbox to the front wheels. 0-60 on this car is 7.7 seconds with a top speed of 129 miles per hour or 208 kilometers per hour. The car has a mass of 1,090 kilograms or 2,400 pounds, and last but not least, the tyres all around are 205/40 R17s. Now, up on the screen is going to be the current lap time of the car. So this is what was set the first time I actually did anything with this car, and as you can see, this particular car, this Fiat, is dead last with a 9 minutes 3.593. It is dead last. So if we just go back a page, you will see that there is an Alfa Romeo Mito QV which is about a second, just over a second ahead of it, and then the Mazda MX-5 ND which is an 8 minutes 53.8 or thereabouts. Now the question is, where can this car get in that area? Can it beat the Alfa Romeo Mito, and can it get anywhere near the Mazda? That is a question that we're going to answer in the next few minutes. Also, we have the driver ratings to look at, so if I just bring that up on screen, as you can see, this is currently in 28th place, and the Mazda MX-5 ND that we just mentioned is just above it. So, after driving this, will it go up or will it go down? Generally, I do not think these are going to go down, but there we go. With all that information out the way, let me know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments box, what do you think the lap time for this car is going to be? Is it going to be any faster, and by how much? And I suppose just enjoy the lap and we'll find out in a few minutes whether or not you were correct. Right, so here we go into turn 1, and as you can see, this is lap 14 that I am currently on. Now, it doesn't mean that all 14 laps were hot laps. There were a couple of cool laps, cool down laps. There were a couple of laps where I was just testing a few things, and there was one lap I had where because of my brake calibration, it started pressing the brakes ever so slightly in a really high speed section, and I was up on my lap time and suddenly I lost all of that lap time. So as we go through this part of the track, the question is going to be, how much faster am I going to be, if at all? And to compare it to well, comparing it to what I already have at the moment, you can see I am slightly up, not by much, and obviously it's very easy to lose. It's very easy to lose the back end of the car, for example, or in this car, being a front wheel drive, it's very easy to understeer. So that is something that through the entire video, or through this entire lap, that is something that I was having to be very careful and cautious about. So there is that. Now, coming up to one of the hairpins, I can never remember the names of all of these corners. I really should learn them. In fact, let me pull up a map right now so that I can talk about some of these. So, oh dear, I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these to be fair. Yes, this blind corner is quite dangerous. So, as you can see, I'm actually quite a lot up on my other lap already, but for some reason it seems a lot smoother for me to throw it in on this one. And I am going to mention this wasn't a perfect lap as I come up to what's this? Metzgersfeld? Perhaps that's how you pronounce it. I'm coming up to Metzgersfeld, I believe. I'm fairly sure that is the right corner. Yes, that does seem like the right corner. And then we're going to be coming into Kallenhard. So I think one of the things that I found with my new steering wheel is that, and you will notice this if you compare my steering in this video and the steering in the last video, in the top left hand corner, my steering wheel is moving a lot more in this video, and that is just because I can feel the road, and the forces of the road are causing my wheel to shake and to move about as the car moves about. So that is something that I noticed in this. That's quite different to what I used to do with my Logitech G27. I believe that this is... Nope, not a clue. I cannot pronounce these ones. I've got the names in front of me. I cannot pronounce them. I'm going to have to look up the pronunciations of these. One thing I found here in this corner, really try to get on the power early. Let the understeer push the car out wide a little. But if you get on the power early, as you start going up the hill, you're scrubbing off less speed because obviously gravity, you're going to be slowing down a lot. If you go up and you're already on the power, you scrub off less speed and you tend to gain a lot of time. Another thing about this one, brake a little bit later. I could brake a little bit later, but again, not perfect. I think I lost about a tenth there, not going all the way out to the edge of the track. This is now, I believe, the Kesselchen. Sounds like the Kessel Run. Never mind. And then we're going to be coming up to Muttkurve, which is the Muttkurve is an interesting curve if that's how you pronounce it. The reason being is that if you go slightly too fast into this corner, it tends to tighten up a little bit more than you think, and you end up on the grass, and then that's it. So as we come up here, you'll notice what I decided to do here is just lift off the accelerator and then back on. It tightens up just there. So as it tightens up, it's very easy to get that wrong and end up across the track, bumping into the barrier, and that's it. Game over. Right, now we're going to be coming up obviously towards the carousel. Here again, just a little bit not very confident with my line here. There's many different lines you can take. In fact, I'm taking a completely different line, it seems, in the old video. Coming into the carousel, brake late, in on the carousel, not quite right. As you can see, this, I think I lost about... I'm thinking I've lost about a quarter of a second there, whereas in the old lap I was actually a lot better. Right, through this section as well, one of the other things I noticed in this car, ease off the accelerator and then just downshift there, come over and try not to get up on this curb too much, because if you get up on that curb, you do not have the grip to be able to turn in for this one and carry enough speed. So that's something that I noticed. I wasn't great through this either. I did manage to slow it down, but as you can see, I touched the grass a little bit more than I wanted to, and I was kind of hoping to carry a smidge more speed through that. This I was fairly good with. I feel like that was pretty good. As I said, I always aim for that section where the tarmac or the cobblestones stick more into the grass, but you cannot see it. I just have to know it's there, and after hundreds and hundreds of laps of the Nordschleife, I just know where that is. Again here, sort of turned in a little bit too early, had to turn out a little, that compromised my line a little. I found a good braking spot for this, but I'm still not sure if I've got this exit line right, so I need to work a little bit on that. Certainly I think it was a little bit better than my previous attempt on this. Now I've kind of lost where exactly I am at this point in time, so I'm not even going to bother. But potentially the wrong gear here, I'm not sure. We've got some nice S curves coming up. In fact, I know where I am now. I just went through Flanskarten, and now we're coming up to the S curves, which I think are the Stefan Beloff S. So that's this very gentle S curves here, and you can see the amount of lap time I'm gaining, because at this point I'm turning in for this section, which I really do not like this section, by the way, and I am about 2 corners, or in fact I'm an entire corner ahead. I'm at the mini carousel here, and in my old video I've just reached mini carousel now. So that has shown how much I've gained. Also, in this part I realised that no brakes necessary in this car. Just let off the accelerator a little bit, ensure that you've just got the grip, and then back on, and then we are on the back straight. So at this point, really all I need to do is try to make as little movements as possible, but ease my car over all the way onto the right hand side, so that when we get to Tiergarten I can bring the car in very nicely, again losing minimal speed. I do not want to tighten up any corner if I can help it. So you can see that, just like my old video, I've drifted the car over to the right hand side, so that as we come into Tiergarten here, we should be able to turn in nice and easy. There you go, nice and smooth, minimal loss of time. And now comes the really hard braking. So for this I actually waited until, well, you can see there where I waited until I hit the brakes, which was it was difficult, I will admit, and you'll see if you watch my Patreon video, you will see why some of those were difficult. And there you go, there is the lap, an 8 minutes 56.764. Bringing that up on screen now, well, it's out of last place. It's out of last place, and by quite a substantial margin. If we just compare the old lap time, 9 minutes 3.593 to 8 minutes 56.764. That is over. That is what, a 7.17 second improvement. Yes, so it's over 7 seconds of improvement right there. If I've got that correct. Or is it almost 7 seconds of improvement? Sorry, what am I talking about? It's almost 7 seconds of improvement. Thank you, maths. By the way, this video has taken a very long time to sort out and edit. It was a nightmare to get this right due to issues, but almost 7 seconds of improvement on that. Now, I think some of that may be down to ABS a little bit, particularly at the final, at the end, so probably about half a second to 0.75 of a second, braking from the back straight, or that long straight, and hitting the brakes there. That ABS, not having, or having ABS there, really helped. The other thing is, I think it's down to the Fanatec wheel as well, just being able to feel everything that is going on and being able to respond, and the consistency I was able to get. This 8:56 was my fastest lap, but I was able to consistently lap in the 57.58s. and it didn't feel difficult at all, whereas with the 9 minutes 3 I felt like I was pushing and I only had about 2 seconds in it. Initially when I started this, I wanted to see if I could get maybe into a 9 minutes 1, take 2 seconds off, 9 minutes 1.5. Very quickly I realised I was going to be able to get to a 9 minutes, so I thought maybe I'll try and get it down below 9 minutes. That was then the next target. I got below the 9 minutes, I thought, how fast can I get this? So there we go. In terms of driver ranking, I'm not going to show that because I've decided not to change it. It is going to stay exactly where it is on the driver ranking. And also, I think in terms of how much time I could still get out of this car, I think, to be honest, with the driving I was doing, probably 2 seconds at most. I think 2 seconds at most, and if I drove every single corner perfectly, then maybe I would be beating the Mazda MX-5, but I think I've only got another 2 seconds in it, so an 8:54 is probably the best I'm going to be able to do. So that is the first Redux video completed. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa and the Nordschleife challenge, leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Did you enjoy the Redux video? And also, if you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon, link in the description box below, and of course on Patreon you will be able to see the extra videos. Finally, social media at ECGadget, LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I'll see you next time in Assetto Corsa for another video on the Nordschleife challenge, and I already have the next car. It's not a Redux video, I have the next car already lined up.